Welcome back to another video. In today's video we are at Spring Barley Straw. I'm recording this video a bit backwards. As you might be able to see from the footage, I've got a full load of round bales behind me, but you're not to worry about that yet. So we're going to start off the video by continuing from the last one really. We're going to get the small square baler ready to go and bale up a few small squares, and then you'll see us bringing them in with our loader with the flat 8 grab, and it actually worked out quite well. We only square baled 50 bales and then we round baled the rest of it. So that is what you're going to see, and then hopefully you'll see us collecting our new bale spike. So we bought ourselves a 6-foot bale spike with an extendable back bar out of Redmond Engineering from Wexford. It's just outside Ballycanoe, between Ballycanoe and Ferns really. So you'll see the new bale spike, and it's really nice compared to our one. As I was saying before, our one's just gone fairly shook. So we just wanted one slightly wider so you could catch 2 round bales a lot easier, and it's made a hell of a difference. But the back bar is also good for the squares. Hopefully it came across on video. But I've just got a strap thrown over this load, and I'm going to bring it down to our grain merchant and weigh it in so we can compare what's in a round bale compared to the square bales. So if you didn't know already, when we were bringing in the big square bales off the winter barley, I weighed a load and we came to the conclusion that there was 394 kilos in a bale, basically 400 kilos. So it'll be interesting to see now what these round bales weigh. But I'll just take her handy down to the grain merchant, and then we'll make our way back to the yard and I'll get this last load unloaded. Our spring barley yielded 8 round bales to the acre, 4'6" McHale Fusion 3 plus bales, that is. I know there's all different sizes. You've got 4-foot bales, 4'6". Some people go up to 5 foot, and then I know in America they go even bigger than that, but we got 8 bales an acre, 4'6" bales. So I'll just get down to the grain merchant and I'll pick the camera back up again. It's the next day since I was recording, and as you can see we've got all the round bales baled up, and we've got a few rows here that we're gonna small square bale as well. So hopefully the camera doesn't fall from where it is and you can see the flat 8 in action. I did a small bit of repair work on it this morning just when it was too wet to bale, so hopefully it'll have made a difference, because it is a lovely bit of kit when it works right, but it can be very annoying when it doesn't. So he's about to start up the baler here now, so if the camera's going to fall, it'll probably fall in the next 10 seconds. Hopefully the mic is picking me up. Sorry if I just shouted into your ears. I know when I look down it can get very loud, but this is the benefit of having the new mic, is the GoPro can be in a really noisy spot, but hopefully you can still hear me and I can talk about what's actually going on. So hopefully we don't make too heavy a bale now, because that is always the problem. But we got 34 round bales off what we did bale, so didn't get on too badly. I don't know how much that camera's looking down, but the first bale's about to come out of the baler now, so hopefully you can see that. And hopefully it'll work perfectly. I'm just going to walk behind and I'll rearrange the bales if I need to, but my hope is that it's going to work perfectly. Not too bad. As I said before, when this yoke works well, it is so cool to watch. Or I find it cool. Maybe I'm just a weirdo, but it's just amazing for such an old piece of kit, the way everything moves. And there's nothing fancy in it. It's all old style and it works nonetheless. Now that side actually works better than the other side because that bale's actually stayed square, whereas that one's sitting on a bit of a curve. But this is where we always have the trouble. This fourth bale is either going to make a mess or it's going to work perfectly. That is actually unbelievable. I did not think it was going to work, but it did. So hopefully you get the idea now. But we got to turn around, so we'll get that done. But all the work I did on it was I just put a few new springs on and unseized all the tensioners and retensioned the springs then, and it seems to have made a difference. What used to happen is sometimes the 4 bales would build up there, then they just come out the back door wouldn't close quick enough. But the modification we seem to have made on the back seems to have worked that time anyway. It'll be interesting to see now what it does the next time. Those bales are quite heavy, but the good thing about the little John Deere, she has creeper gear, so it's all the ranges again but slower. So when you're baling like this in big 20-foot rows, you can really slow her back and get a nice bale, because I don't see the point in small squares when they weigh about 50 kilos, because it's just a pain in the arse. But you know by the look of a square bale if it's going to be heavy. Like that one that's just coming out right there, you can see how tight the strings are on it, so you know by it that it's well heavy. But this next one doesn't look too bad. But we are coming up a lighter row there before. And here comes our 8th bale. It didn't work too bad. That bale came out a bit late, but not too bad. And there's our first bale going in again. This was all my idea, getting the small square baler out and the bales to lay and all. So hopefully everyone on YouTube enjoys it as much as I do, because my dad did not want to do this at all. So I spent a lot of yesterday getting all the kit pulled out and ready to go. But the baler and the beat lifter had to be moved anyway, because I want to stack the big round bales in there. So it wasn't like I was doing unnecessary work, but there was a small bit of messing about going on. Hang on! So that right there is exactly what always happens. So I'd say the springs need to be tightened up a little more. I'll have to keep a closer eye on them now the next time they're coming in. So we got 8, 8 and 8 out of that. 24, that's not bad going. So hopefully about the same again out of this row. I don't know what I need to change to get this to work better. I think I need to adjust the lad in the middle here, but I just don't know. So I'll let this one trip it and see if it works. Did not work. Why is it not working? So what's wrong is that last bale trips it, it lets the 4 back, but by the time they hit the back door hasn't closed and it just lets them out. Of course it worked perfectly the first time, but it hasn't worked right since it did it that time. Right, well, I think that'll do it for the baling, because that's our 4 rows gone now. Got 16 out of that, 24, and there's 4 on the headland, nearly 50 bales. I've got 30 of them sold, so we'll keep the rest for ourselves, but I'd like to get this baler out a bit more often because it is fun, and I'd like to get the flat 8 working better, but it's just hard to get the time to be at it, so may leave it for another year, because that is basically, well, that's our spring barley done anyway, and a lot of lads around here are done as well, so not much more straw left to bale, but maybe there'll be some hay. Some years we get a phone call saying people want hay made into small square bales, but there's only ever been one year where we actually did go and bale up a bit for one lad, but I don't know. Sometimes it's a lot of work and sometimes it's grand. If you're doing 1,000 or 2,000 bales in one go, you'd get fairly sick of it, but doing the couple we do every year or so isn't too bad. Keeps it fun and enjoyable, but as I said before, I'd like to get that flat 8 working a bit better, because we have the grab for the loader and all, which you'll see later in the video, so it is good and handy. But I think I'll leave the talking here. I'll stop recording and pick the camera up another day when we're bringing in the round bales, I suppose, but I'll talk to you another day.
I criticized myself for trusting lies. I know I can't hide, 'cause then I'd be alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been so scared that I'd unravel. Brick by brick, I built these walls. Now I know that I'm enough. Just watch me tear them down. I'm gonna tear them down. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? Just watch me march towards the battle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. Watch me march. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart.
So I'm just off the weighbridge there now, and we worked out what it was. So there's 11 bales on, and there's less than 2 ton on the trailer. So it worked out to be 182 kilos per bale. So that's not bad. That means that the square bales we had were worth more than 2 round bales, which is pretty nice to know. That means our winter barley yielded better straw wise than we thought. But that's just another experiment done. My plan is to weigh a few small square bales as well and see what are in them, but I don't know if I'll get round to that before this video has to go up, but I'll try my best. But I'll just take our handy back to the yard now, and I'll get these unloaded into the tunnel, and that'll be us done with straw. But put the camera down and pick it up later. Well, it's now the next day, and we were at silage bales last night, so just getting the grab taken off, and I'm going to stack up the last few of these straw bales, and then that'll be the end of today's video, and it'll be the end of barley for this year. But planting or sowing season won't be long approaching now. I'd say we'll put the first of our winter crops in about a month's time, or a month from now. By the time you see this video, it'll probably be very close to the time we're actually getting ready to sow. As I was saying before, we bought a new bale grab out of Redmond Engineering down in Wexford, and this is it. Hopefully you can see it on the camera. So it's got the adjustable top bar on, which hopefully I showed you earlier in the video. So it does a good job of carrying 2 squares, and you can easily carry 3 round bales, and there's no fear of it falling back on the boom of the loader. But our old spike was 5 foot wide, and this is 6 foot wide, so the extra bit of width is really nice. It's just so handy to pick up 2 bales. So we kind of threw off the last of these bales yesterday when we were getting ready to go and bring in a bit of straw, or not straw, silage. So I just have to tidy up all these bales now and get them stacked up. So hopefully you will enjoy this. It is not the easiest shed to stack into, or tunnel. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro, but there's a beam right here at the top of my boom, and then it can get a bit awkward once you get out of this. So that frame you can see in front of me used to be the end of the tunnel, and then we extended it, and that frame really should have been taken out because it makes it so awkward. Once you get past it though, it's not too bad. You can make it work. But just getting past it is a difficult part. But I don't think this year we're even gonna have to come past it because we made big square bales. It's just not taking half as much room to store all the straw. So we're fitting them in quite easily. And I've stacked a lot of the square bales up in the other shed, getting ready to make a crimp pit once cattle have to come in. So that is what's happening at the minute. I hope I'm not repeating myself too much. I've recorded quite a few videos over the summer and it can get a bit confusing. I've got a couple of videos half made and I'm just waiting for us to do a bit more on certain topics before I finish off the video. So there's a lot of footage recorded and it's only half recorded, but then when I go to finish it off, it's hard to remember what I have and haven't said. So I do apologise if there's a few videos where it feels like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over. I don't mean to do it, it's just the way it has turned out on me. So, but I think what I might do is I'll put the camera on time lapse and I'll get the last of these bales put in here, and then that'll be the end of the video. So if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. But I'll leave the talking here. We'll get these bales stacked up and then we'll finish up the video. I really do like this new spike. It is so much nicer than the old one. You could never pick up two bales like this with the old one. But I think that'll just about do it for today's video. So as I said before, if you enjoyed it, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll have another video up next Saturday. But if you've got any questions about anything you saw in today's video, feel free to leave them down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. But I think that's it from me today, so I'll see you in the next one.